It's been a little over 5 months since a violent mob stormed the US Capitol, took over the floor of the Senate, and passed a law giving tax breaks to incels. And even now, the FBI is still tracking down the rioters, sometimes in the most hilarious ways possible.
Another Western New Yorker has been arrested, accused of taking part in the riots at the United States Capitol. Daniel Warmus of Alden was arrested last night for his alleged role in the riots inside the U.S. Capitol January 6th. Now, here's the official FBI complaint, which started with an anonymous tip from someone who says just 6 days after the insurrection, they overheard Warmus bragging to his dentist about his trip to Washington, even playing videos of his experience that day. That person told the FBI they could hear Warmus talking about how he smoked marijuana inside the Capitol and how he refused police officers' instructions to leave the building.
Okay, look, wait. You can laugh at this guy, but he's not alone. So many Capitol rioters have gotten busted because they bragged about it afterwards. Which honestly, guys, I kind of understand. I mean, how could you not tell people about the craziest, most interesting thing you've ever done? You stormed the Capitol. You have to tell people. I mean, that's why I could never be part of a heist. So, Trevor, how was your weekend? I broke into a casino vault. It was the most exciting thing ever, man. We got inside and there were lasers. Everyone was like, pew, 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 pew. And then I was dodging the lasers. Then I got in and I cracked the vault. Then I got the money and I was like, bam, I'm rich, baby. Ooh, it was wild. All right, you can call the cops now. You know what is surprising to me, though, is that this guy confessed his crimes to his dentist. I mean, how can you be that open with your dentist? I'm scared to even tell my dentist I haven't been flossing. And what really blows my mind is that someone could even understand anything this guy was saying to his dentist. Have you ever tried to have a conversation with a dentist? All right, just open wide. I'm gonna move your tongue over here and tell me, so how's your summer been going? And while the FBI is still working on IDing everyone who stormed the Capitol that day, the ones that they have already found are working on staying out of prison. Like, remember this guy? Yeah, the most effective anti-fur ad of all time? Well, his lawyer has come up with one of the most novel defenses you will ever hear.
The attorney for Jacob Chansley, the so-called QAnon shaman who stormed the Capitol on January 6th, is drawing criticism over remarks he made when he was talking about the defense strategy for his clients. I want to warn you, this is offensive, but they are his words. Albert Watkins says, quote, "A lot of these defendants, and I'm going to use this colloquial term, perhaps disrespectfully, but they're all effing short bus people. These are people with brain damage. They're effing retarded. They're on the goddamn spectrum. But they're our brothers, our sisters, our neighbors, our co-workers. They're part of our country. They aren't bad people. They don't have prior criminal history. They were subjected to 4+ years of goddamn propaganda, the likes of which the world has not seen since effing Hitler."
God damn, people. That's his lawyer saying that shit about him. You gotta admit, that's one hell of a legal strategy. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my client seems like a brain-dead idiot who can be convinced into committing treason. I rest my case. Honestly, people, this was the craziest thing I have ever heard from a lawyer in my life. I mean, this guy managed to use inflammatory remarks, offend an entire group of people, and completely distract everyone from what his client was caught on camera doing. Donald Trump is probably sitting back watching this like, where was this guy when I was getting impeached? I'm also a susceptible moron. You know what's weird, though, is that even though the lawyer used all these horribly offensive words, in a strange way, his heart is kind of in the right place. Because what he's really saying is that we shouldn't criminalize mental disability, the neurodivergent, and the easily manipulated. He's basically the most woke person in the world. You know, it's sort of like an old man saying, well, I say the blacks are every bit as valuable as normal folk. Nigger lives matter. But people, it's important to remember that a mob of morons didn't just materialize out of nowhere. People encouraged and inspired these morons. And they made security decisions that allowed these morons to break into what should be the most secure place in America. I mean, aside from wherever Ariana Grande held her wedding. Which is why many people in Congress are saying it's important to investigate how this happened. Although, interestingly enough, other people in Congress are saying it's better not to ask.
Congress voting today on a 9/11 style commission to investigate the January Capitol attack.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy came out against creating the commission yesterday, followed later by a formal recommendation by House GOP leadership for members to vote no.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell just announcing on the floor that he opposes the bipartisan bill to form a January 6th commission as it is currently drafted.
After careful consideration, I've made the decision to oppose the House Democrats' slanted and unbalanced proposal for another commission to study the events of January the 6th.
In a statement, former President Trump said Republican lawmakers should not approve the commission, calling it a Democrat trap.
It's just more partisan unfairness, and unless the murders, riots, and fire bombings in Portland, Minneapolis, Seattle, Chicago, and New York are also going to be studied, this discussion should be ended immediately.
Oh, I'm not going to lie. My man Trump is right. How is this commission just going to investigate January 6th when there's so much other shit to figure out, huh? Like what happened in Portland? Who killed Tupac and Biggie? Who's the monster who created jorts? The people need to know. But seriously though, is Trump really trying to all riots matter this commission? I mean, look, I'm not surprised that the GOP's leaders are trying to derail this thing. You know, investigating the insurrection means the Republican Party would have to take a good hard look at itself. And if I was Mitch McConnell, looking at myself is the last thing I'd want to do.